What do y'all know about the Earth? Well, that's what geology studies, Earth processes. In this speech, I will discuss with you what geology is and what the careers available for geologists are. In geology, what is it? Geology is the study of the Earth, the minerals of which it is made of, and the study of the organisms that have inhabited our planet. When we study geology, we study things to make our planet better for us and to make things safer. One of the things we study is minerals and materials. Oil, metals, water, anything that comes from a mine or underneath the ground, reservoirs, all make our life better. We use oil to power our cars, heat our houses. We use metals to make gold for rings and our currency. We have silver. We have iron that makes our metals. All this is founded because of geology. Geologists look and they take samples from underneath to get water samples so we can have perfect drinking water or irrigate our farmlands. Because of geology, this is why we are able to do this. Geology also studies the processes within the Earth. What makes these materials and how they react to one another. Why we get diamonds and how we found coal is because of the processes that the Earth does. The pressures that are consumed, that are underneath the ground, compress all this stuff. And after so long, we actually be able to come and have coal when we mine it. Geologists go and they find these, they look and they study these processes. And they go out and they take samples and they find this coal so we can have heat. There's certain things other geologists also do. Is first of all, they study our planet. And one of the things they study about our planet is what's big in the news right now is climate change. They look back billions of years in history to see when our ice ages were, what's happened to the Earth over these periods, to determine what will happen in the future. You got to study the past to predict the future. When these geologists study the past to predict the future, they can save our lives. They can predict when the last eruption of a volcano was, so they can kind of give a little time frame on when it might erupt again. So that way we can make warning systems that will help get people out of these prone areas. Landslides, earthquakes, floods, volcanoes, all are big issues within our country. California right now had a big cold front come through, dumped a lot of rain. One thing California has problems with is landslides. Geologists try to predict where these landslides might be, so then we can deter people from building on the side of a hill that will actually be caused and prone to landslides. Earthquakes. They study fault lines and tectonic plate shifts underneath the ground. So then we can help people stay away from these areas. California right now, again, is big because of these. One of the most populated areas besides New York is LA and San Francisco. The San Andreas fault line runs right in it. Without geology and them studying this, they would never be able to find out when these earthquakes might hit, and be better to build better structures to help support our houses and our buildings. Geology careers is something that I'm going to go into. I picked geology because of several reasons. First of all, I love history. And when you're able to study time periods that are way beyond mental reality of how long this was, and predict and see what lived there, and see what the climate was there, it really helps you feel, it makes you feel good. And then when you can prevent people from building in prone areas that are prone to earthquakes and landscapes, you can save people's lives. But that's more the environmental side of geology. Environmental geology, they look at these processes, they look at these areas, they make maps of places that have flooded, and that's environmental geology goes further into this. What I'm more interested in, though, is oil and gas. One reason is because my father and my grandfather have both been in the oil field, and so I kind of wanted to keep it in the family. So, what do we know about the oil and gas part of geology? Well, Jimmy Thomas is a geologist from Decatur. I went and had a meeting with him back in the summer, and he shed some light and helped me determine that this is the field I want to go into. But one of the things we talked about was, you know, how do y'all discover oil underneath the ground? How do you know it's there without just punching holes in the ground and hoping you find it? Well, they take core samples. They take this thing, they dig deep into the Earth's atmosphere, and they pull out this. And they look for what they're called hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are different minerals within the rocks that are underneath the ground. When you look at the different minerals, they form out on a chart. And Jimmy Thomas showed me a couple of these charts, and I'm sorry I don't have one with me to better explain it. But it's peaks. It's on a graph, and there's peaks. And what these peaks represent is the ones that are long and skinny have the hydrocarbons. This is where you would want to drill your well. One of the things he really focuses on, and what we live underneath right now, is what you call the Barnett Shale. It's a large underlying rock which our counties are built on. What this is they try to fracture the Barnett Shale to release the natural gas and the oil from it. What Grayson County's under, what we are under, is more of a natural gas. But as you look out west towards Montague and Decatur, you see more oil. But he told me about, I asked him kind of about why he went into this, and he told me, first of all, it pays good, and it does. It pays really good. And that kind of helps you when you're trying to pick a career. But he also said it's kind of rewarding, knowing that you're helping do the stuff that will help people's everyday lives run. But I had a good talk with him, and I'm glad I was able to go and visit with him. In closing, we use geology every day, whether we know it or not. Every time you pick up a rock or get gas, without geology, you never find it. Without geology, our lives would be much hectic. Thank y'all very much.